Hello! No, it's not an accident. Hello. How are you? It's bloody roasting here in Scotland. Ridiculously hot today, actually. So I got my window wide open, I've got a giant light here, so you're basically not going to be able to see me at all. I'm not closing the window, so I'm sweating my tits off. Good afternoon. I should get two fans. I get the window open on the side and I get two fans blowing air this way. Who knows? Hello, how is everybody? And I think I'm dehydrated as well. Like, I'm sure I'm dehydrated because I can feel that sort of niggly headache coming. So, hope everyone's having a good summer. I'll just hit the camera with my water bottle. Nice. Good way to start the stream. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I mean, I've got loads to do. I've got this Death Company Dreadnought. They're going to be pretty good now, right? Got this Blade Guard Veteran. I've got another Judiciar. I've got an Assault Marine with a Thunderhammer. And I've got a Captain to build. I think I need another Captain with a Jump Pack. I started making my Desolation Marines Blood Angels. So this one has a Blood Angels helmet and a Blood Angels shoulder pad. I need to find another shoulder pad for him. So I've got a Brutalis I need to build, so I don't know, I'm just going to be slapping some colours on some models. I really don't know what I'm doing at the moment until we see points costs, but got a couple hours kid free, so I figured I'd jump on and do something. Miguel, hello. Hadn't found a Judiciar anywhere. I guess I would probably just try and convert a Judiciar. You're not going to be able to buy them. They never sold them individually, which is kind of mad considering they're actually really useful now, right? They've never sold them individually. They only ever sold them in Indomitus, or what was the other thing they sold them in? That like Marine Heroes from after Indomitus, and that kit is really expensive for what you get. It's like $100 for like 10 models, or 10 infantry. Greg says he's excited to field the Death Company Dreadnought again. Yeah, me too, man. I haven't fielded one in forever. Usually, like, I've got a few Firstborn Dreadnoughts, but I'm thinking I really am tempted to get a second Death Company Dreadnought. The new rule that he has is really interesting, where you can basically fight an unlimited amount of times if he doesn't die. It's kind of crazy, actually. Like, I think Blood Angels players could just throw 2 or even 3 Death Company Dreadnoughts into reserve every game and be like, that's my reserves. 3 Death Company Dreadnoughts. That's probably about 500 points, which is probably... because I think before they were 135 points. I can't imagine the points costs have changed all that much. So like 3 Death Company Dreadnoughts is what? About 400 points maybe? 420? Dirty Wizard, hello John. I'm currently being baked by the sun. 160 foot in the air on the back of a crane. Well, you be careful, man. Yeah, it's roasting here. So I need to keep drinking water. Summer has finally arrived. So that's something. It's nice. Better than being cold, right? But hey, Dirty Wizard. Heroes of the Chapter, says Monkey Llama. Yeah, that's what it's called, Monkey Llama, and it's kind of ridiculous expensive, that Heroes of the Chapter. So I would try and convert a Judiciar if you can. He just needs a big sword, basically. And he's on the same size base as a Blade Guard, because I got him right here. So I think that's... same size base as a Blade Guard. I don't know the size of base Blade Guard they're on. But I think is that 40? Is it the same as Terminators? Someone in chat will know. Hey, Dirty Wizard, thank you so much. You have awoken. I had my best day ever on YouTube yesterday, which was kind of sick. I get 6,000 views in a single day. I was chuffed. I was very happy. So people are enjoying the 10th edition content. I've actually got 2 more videos. Like, I spent the whole I was so excited that I got 6,000 views in a single day, being my best day of views ever on YouTube. I've actually been just... second I got up this morning, I've been working on 2 more videos. One is like ready to film. Like, I've done all my slides and everything, and I'm ready to film it. And it's another really interesting 10th edition video. And then the other one, I've actually filmed everything. So I could have gone and started video editing on that right now, but I thought to myself, like, I just want to go live for a couple hours, paint a few things. I will either do the video editing for that tonight, tomorrow morning. What should I try and dig out to photo tonight if I can find it? Gregory, you're the man. If anyone doesn't know, all the cool thumbnails I've had recently have been by Gregory. You did some really cool ones for me. I was gonna say, if you've got... I saw you did the Death Company the other day, that was cool. I mean, a Death Company Dreadnought would be cool. Any of the Primaris Dreadnoughts? You maybe already did one of them for me. Do you know what, Gregory? You just photo what the hell you want and you send it to me, because I will make videos on every... Like, I will make a video on every single thing that we have in 10th edition, right? Like, that's what my channel's all about, is making videos on how to win games, right? I noticed Valrak was trying to steal my thunder making a tactics video yesterday. Like, what the hell? I commented on it. Good for him, though. But I commented on it. I was like, what the hell, Valrak? Tactics video, get out. That's my thunder. I'm only joking. But yeah, I've had some great comments, actually, about all the new rules. Some really inspirational ideas for new videos. So keep them coming. Keep all the comments coming. It's much appreciated. 10th edition is very exciting. What's the starting list for 10th edition? Oh, that's really hard, Mika. I mean, we'll do a starting list video probably whenever, like, as soon as we get the points of all the models, we'll put together a starting list. I mean, things that are strong right now, and there's a good list. Maybe I need to make a quick video about, like, what you need to prioritize for painting. Things that I think are strong. Things that, like, well, what's on my painting table right now is I think Assault Intercessors are going to be pretty strong with Mephiston. So I guess if you don't have Assault Intercessors, do them. I think both Thunderhammer and Power Fist Infernal Pistol, or Power Sword Infernal Pistol Death Company are going to be strong. I think Lamartez is strong. I think Dante is strong. I think the Sanguiner is strong. I think Vanguard Veterans and both Sangre Guard are also pretty strong. So it's a bunch of the stuff that we already had. I think Redemptors are quite good. I think the Brutalis Dreadnought's quite good. I think the Death Company Dreadnought's potentially insane. The Librarian Dreadnought's quite good. I think Terminators are good. Aggressors are good. Centurions are possibly good. There's a lot. I mean, it's hard to just say, like... Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, like, the first list is going to be very difficult. There's going to be a bit of a personal flavour in your first list as well, right? Because, like, some people, like, just... I know Steel Rain, big Blood Angels player, big fan of the channel, he just rates Sangre Guard. Like, he just loves Sangre Guard. Like, he loves them so much. And if he loves them so much, I mean, who am I to tell him not to run 30 of them? I only have 25 Sangre Guard, and I don't like to run all of them. I usually run them in, like... 2 squads of 7 or something. Like, I don't think I've ever run more than... like 14 Sangre Guard, even though I've got, like, the full 25. 25 is the number from the lower, right? There apparently are 25 Sangre Guard, but I mean, some people have run in one tournaments with 30 Sangre Guard. Like, that's a thing. I just don't like all Sangre Guard, but, you know, who knows what's going to be strong, who knows what's going to be... So, first army list is a very difficult question right now. I mean, as soon as I make my first list, I might even make it live. I might make it live. You say that you love the channel and commentary. Thank you so much. Apollo says, I'm ready for Assault Terminators Captain Thunderhammer jumping across the board with Wings of Sanguinius. Yes, I mean, that's a 50% chance of a turn 1 charge, pretty much, right? 9-inch charge with a reroll, 50%. I mean, it's cool, Apollo. I just don't know. You know, there's definitely a element of risk in there. I guess you decide how much risk you're wanting to go. I need to quickly grab my other Judiciar and a Blade Guard so that my paint scheme matches. Here's a blade guard. And here's the other Judiciar. I think I was really on the fence about buying 3 more blade guard because I have 8 at the moment. This guy will make it 9. So I don't have enough for 2 squads of 6. I have like a 5 and a 4. So if I bought 1 more squad of blade guard, which is 3 guys, that would give me the ability to run like 2 squads of 6 blade guard. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to run 2 squads of 6 blade guard, but I like options, and I do think blade guard accompanied by, there's a few things you can attach to the blade guard now. The Judiciar is going to be really cool. He's going to be really strong attached to the blade guard, but what else is going to be really strong attached is the company champion, because he gives +1 to charge. So Apollo, who was just saying about throwing Terminators across the board in turn 1, you could throw a squad of blade guard veterans across the board in turn 1, like a 6-man with the company champion. It's one of the only way. Like, I was looking earlier today, actually, when I was making a video earlier today. I was working on a couple of videos earlier today, and as far as I'm aware, there's only about 3 ways we can get +1 to charge. And +1 to charge, taking the charge from like a 9 to an 8, increases that charge percentage by like almost 20%. So if you can get +1 to charge, you have 20% more reliability. Now, if you're trying to get into combat in turn 1, 20% more reliability is going to be pretty good. Hey, John, the music is a touch loud. All right, let me turn it down. Sorry. How about that? Afternoon, Jimmy. You all checked out the new rules. I've checked. I mean, I'm doing videos on them almost every day at the moment. Syntax on the new rules. If there's any questions on the new rules, I should be able to answer them. The only thing we just don't have is points, and if there's any videos that people are desperate to see on the new rules, we can talk about them as well, because I feel like I'm kind of up to date with new rules and stuff. Greetings, Rosario, how are you? If are loads of people tuning in this afternoon. Hello, hello. Miguel's going to run 20 Terminators because I finally have an even number of them. Fair enough. Nefaria says we're helping him build his first army. That's awesome, dude. Thank you for watching. Welcome to the channel. It's always nice to hear about new people playing for the first time and stuff. The music was fine. Oh, it doesn't really matter. Turn the music down a tad. Cool. Alright, I'm just going to start slapping on some base. I purposely picked up some crappy brushes as well, so we're just going to use some really old brushes and just slap some base colors on this guy. It's so hot here today that I'm going to have to make sure that I put a lot of water into the paint because it's going to be quite thick. I gave this Judiciar a sanguinary guard head, just to make him a bit different from the other one. Some folk. That Atlas is definitely running 10-man sanguinary guard with Dante. I don't know if you'll need, like... Will you need 10? 7 will probably do a lot of killing. Maybe you want 10, I guess. 10 will make you a little bit more vulnerable to blast, I guess. It's not the end of the world. I was thinking that, like, as it stands right now, I was thinking, like, a captain with maybe, like, 7 Sangard, another captain, or sorry, Dante with 7 Sangard, so 2 Sangards, one with the captain, one with Dante, and then maybe, like, a Vanguard veteran squad with a chaplain, I don't know. Chaplain's got pretty good, like a jump chaplain. Chaplain's got pretty good orders as well for combat units. +1 to wound, and anytime they fight, you get to just do a bunch of mortal wounds. Well, it's not a bunch, I guess it's like 3. But it's like every time the unit with the chaplain fights, on a 2-up, you're just doing some mortal wounds, which is pretty handy. It's always nice to just do mortals when you fight for no reason other than just being in combat, I guess, right? Are you going to run the Blood Angels attachment or Gladius? Said Greg. Doctrine seems super strong for what we get with attachment abilities. I'm going to be running Blood Angels attachment most of the time, I think, Greg. And I think I've got a good reason behind that. And the reason behind that is, like, what we talk about is, like, breakpoints, for example, right? Look at Sanguinary Guard, right? They're, like, strength 5. So if they charge with, let's say they're led by, like, a captain or something, then when they charge they become strength 6. So when they get +1 from Blood Angels, they go to strength 7. So strength 7 is like a decent place to be if you play Red Rampage, right? Because strength 7 is like usually pretty decent, but I guess you're only wounding certain pieces of armor on 5s. But then Red Rampage will make it that you wound armor on 4s. Whereas like with the Space Marine detachment, you would only maybe wound armor on 6s. So and you don't have the same, you don't have access to Red Rampage. So like Sanguinary Guard into armor, I think is going to be pretty bad, right? Unless I'm wrong. Man, I said I'm using a really shitty old brush. This is just me slapping on some base coats. I have a couple of decent brushes that I'm working with at the moment, but like I'm just keeping them decent. Like I can throw base coats on with a shitty brush. I never really care about being accurate with base coats either, because I always end up going back and tidying shit up, right? So I think I've actually got a brand new brush, but I'm just waiting. Like, so probably I would paint like half the model, just slapping base coats on it with a crap brush, and then once I actually want to be accurate, that's when I actually start using like a good brush. I'm cheap, honestly. People make fun of me because how cheap I am. I just always try and save money if I can. Hey Campbell, good afternoon. My guy says, I know Dark Angels Captain and Lieutenant were not popular, but a little sad they went away. I preferred the OC with the Chaplain anyway. Yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe some of the other Marine factions got hit harder than us in terms of what we lost. I haven't dived into all the rules for other chapters as much as I possibly could have, but I feel like there's still a lot for, like, I'm still going through the Space Marine rules every day. Every morning, like when I don't have the kids or when I've got a little bit of time, I've been reading through the Space Marine rules, because there's like there's loads of synergies in there, you know, and it's like figuring out, you know, I have a Storm Speeder. Part of me's thinking like, which Storm Speeder variant do I want to run? Like, you know, just try and figure it all out, I guess, because there is a lot. Afternoon, Jason. Do you think Advance and Charge is better, says Ben? I mean, Advance and Charge is really good, Ben. There's no two ways about that. There's no real way for Blood Angels to get +1 to charge anymore. But, I mean, as far as I'm aware, there's only 3 ways to get +1 to charge. I was looking for that this morning, because I was like, I think that's the biggest thing that we've lost is Blood Angels. We get +1 to charge for the one squad of guys that's with Dante, and we can get +1 to charge from a chapter champion or a Primaris champion. So the chapter champion is part of the command squad. I don't think you can just run him anymore. I think he's part of the command squad. And the Primaris company champion, he can join Blade Guard. He's basically in the same armor as the Blade Guard. So it makes me think that, like, you're going to want some ways to get +1 to charge, especially if you're going to want to try and do, you know, if you want to spend the jump power from Librarian Dreadnought to try and jump a unit in turn 1. I mean, a reroll charge is just a 50% chance. If you have +1, then it goes up to 66% chance. So to me, it feels like if you want to get a turn 1 charge, you either need to go with Dante. And I don't know if I feel confident to like throw Dante, potentially lose Dante in turn 1, because he isn't that survivable. So maybe the way to do the turn 1 charge... I mean, Terminators get the free reroll, but even with the free reroll, it's just 50% chance. I suppose if Terminators get left out in the open, they're likely to be more survivable. But yeah, +1 to charge, so, but then advance and charge from the Gladius is just 1 turn. And you're going to lose a lot of damage output if you go Gladius, right? Have Gladius got a way to, has the Gladius Attachment got a way to buff melee combat? Hey Jason, how you doing? There's no need to feel Wolfen anymore. They're just using heirloom weapons now, right? The Wolfen? Is that what everybody's really upset about? I know people are very upset about Vanguard veteran heirloom weapons, but I actually think for Blood Angels they don't actually suffer as much as many people were saying. That was a video I made yesterday. Because we can still be strength 7 on those heirloom weapons with -2 AP, and strength 7 with -2 AP will kill most things in a single turn of combat. What head did we use in the Judas CR? It's a Sangre Guard one. On my other Judas CR, I used, I think is that a Death Company head on the other one? I actually don't know what head I used on the other one. But the other one, I broke that stupid little tine thing, so I gave him a knife and stuck the tine thing to his base. Stuck this little thing here onto his arm. This was one of the better models I did. I was quite pleased with how he turned out. Daniel says, hey, just got finished the latest SN Bat Rep, Blood Angels versus Nid. Spoiler, Blood Angels totally obliterated by Nid shooting. Do you think we'll struggle in 10th against strong shooting armies? I mean, Blood Angels will be annihilated by any army that shoots. The trick for playing Blood Angels is to hide. And they've obviously made that more difficult now, because like before you could hide in obscuring pieces of terrain, and now you have to hide behind obscuring pieces of terrain. And they also removed our +1 to charge. So while I was happy with most of the things that we saw in our codex, it might not be as easy as we think it will be to win games. I suppose the thing about being annihilated in the shooting phase as well is like, well, that's why I made that video about Vanguard veterans last night. I was like, Sangre Guard are not very good at taking shots. Yes, they're on a 2-up save, but like if the enemy has high AP, like AP 3 and above, suddenly Sangre Guard just start dying very, very quickly for the points of models that you've paid. Whereas let's say that you were getting shot with AP 3 by into like a Van Vet. Well, the Van Vet doesn't care. He's got a 4-up invulnerable save, and then if he does take damage, let's say it's a 2 damage weapon, he's got a 5-up chance to feel no pain. So basically, you could argue that like into high AP weaponry, like -3 or something, Vanguard Vets are like infinitely more survivable than Blade Guard, right? Sorry, not Blade Guard. Sangre Guard. Good afternoon, 2 Scoops. Do we get points this Friday? I believe the rumour is this Friday, folk, but I don't think they've, like, it's a rumour. There's nowhere they've said the points are coming on Friday. It's just a rumour as it stands. I think it's, it feels like with all the rumours that we've had and the accuracy of the rumours, it feels like we probably will get the points on Friday. But it is just a rumour at the moment, right? So I'm going to throw like the simplest 3 colours on this guy. How many colours has he got on him at the moment? 2, black and grey. I'm going to throw some, probably going to throw some Rhinox hide on his cloak. I'll give like one of his shoulder pads a red trim, and I'm just going to move on to the next character. Because I hate playing on stream with characters that are unpainted. I generally just don't play on my stream with unpainted characters. But I'll play on stream with a character that's got like borderline 3 colours and nothing else on him. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to throw 3 colours on this guy. I'm going to move on to the Assault Marine, move on to the Blade Guard, move on to the Death Company Dreadnought, and then probably think after that I want to build another captain with jump pack. And I think I'm going to magnetize him, because while Thunderhammers are good, I don't have one that's not Thunderhammer. Like, I've got 2 captains with jump packs, both of them are rocking Thunderhammers. And sometimes at the end of the army list you need to save some points, right? So I think I want to have one with like a magnetized arm. Annoyingly, I magnetized all my bike captains last edition so I could swap out all the different arms, but I guess my bike captains are kind of redundant now because I don't really run bikes. I mean, you could take a captain without attaching him to a squad, but I think he's probably going to be overcosted if you do that, right? Oh well. It happens. That's why, like, so if there's a model or a unit that you're really upset about, my opinion is don't get upset about it. Put it on the back burner, put it on the shelf, come back to it next edition, because it literally always comes around. Like, my bolter aggressors have sat on the shelf for like 2 years. I think I played them like 1 time in 9th edition.
I have awoken.
Jeffrey, thank you so much for subscribing, I appreciate it. You get the full rerolls to hit and wound on 1 unit each of your turns. Right, yes, you can, even as a Blood Angels, you get Oath of Moment, so you pick whichever enemy unit you're desperate to kill, and you get full hit and wound rerolls against that unit for that turn. I think if you were the Gladius Attachment, oh no, what it was, I think if you had Gilliman in your list, you're allowed to pick 2 units. But I guess that's just if you've got Gilliman, I guess. What kind of shooting support would you take in a list? I mean, it seemed like it's hard to say right now as well, but it seems like las cannons have come out pretty good. Most of them are like D6+1, they've got long range, they've got strength 12. So strength 12 will be pretty useful against other armor. So las cannons seem right now like they're potentially one of the best. Melta might struggle, but like Eradicators have that rule where like if you shoot all your Meltas at like at the same target, you can reroll, what is it, all hits, or 1 hit, 1 wound, 1 damage or something. So Eradicators might still actually be quite good, even though there was a minute there where everybody thought like, oh, Melta's lost quite a bit of its strength. Melta won't be good. They said today in Warhammer community that the points will be released by the end of the week. Cool. So I'm going to be doing a live stream next Saturday, and I'm hoping that it'll be most of the day. I'm hoping to get a few opponents and just play game after game. I'll probably play like 3 games maybe. At least 2, I would hope. And while we're playing, we'll learn some of the rules, and if the points costs are out this week, then that should let us build some army lists to 100% be ready to do that. So that's cool. That'll be cool. I'm excited. Honestly, the thing I think I'm most like, losing +1 to charge and advance, and losing Wrath of Baal, like that's rough, right? Like that is a lot to lose. That lowers, like, Blood Angels win or die on our charges, right? So we lose a ton. What are your thoughts on Death Company this edition with chaplains rerolling hits and +1 to wounds? Seems pretty good. I thought they got to reroll hits without the chaplains. 2 scoops. I thought. Hold on, I got the codex right here. Did you guys see my video on the quick start earlier? Let me show you this. They released this in Warhammer community earlier. It's like a quick start guide with all the rules for 10th edition on like 2 A4 pages and all the default strats as well. So yeah, it might be worth looking at that. Do you know what though? I just realised there actually that there's 2, like, say, like I always talk about Sangre Guard being pretty weak when they get shot, and they die very quickly when they get shot. There's actually 2 ways now to boost their armor save when they're shot, because they get Armor of Contempt, which means they can ignore 1 AP, and they get 2 ground, which can give them the benefit of the cover, but it can never improve their save above a 3 up, right? But let's say someone shoots Meltas at Sangre Guard. In the last edition, you were just fucked. You were like, you're just saving on 6s. There's nothing you can do. Whereas now, I guess you could pay 2 CP, so you go to ground, so that reduces the AP by 1, and then you play Armor of Contempt, that reduces the AP 1. So against AP 4, Sangre Guard, it's going to cost you 2 CP, but I mean, a Sangre Guard squad's pretty expensive, right? Might be worth just saying, yeah, I'll take the 2 CP hit because I'd much rather save Sangre Guard on 4s rather than 6s. And I guess AP 3, you could do it as well, 2 CP to save on 3s, right? If you're getting hit by like a ton of plasma, let's say like 2 or 3 damage plasma, and you have to take 6 saves at like -3, paying 2 CP to suddenly just say like, well, I'll just save on 3s rather than saving on 5s, that's a big deal. Because sometimes, like, I played Gilliman a lot, right? And sometimes when you have to save on 3s, you can save on 3s for days, right? Like, you know, you've got 10 saves to make on 3 up, you can just make all of them. Like, same as when you turn on Armor Indomitus. There was times when Armor Indomitus, there's times when you turn it on and you make none of the saves. Like, I mean, that happens, but there's also times when you really can spike on 3-up saves. The reroll hits for +1 is native. I think Death Company are going to be great, man. I think I'm going to have one Death Company read by a generic chaplain and one read by Lamartez. Like, if you had asked me right now what I think would be good with Death Company, that's what I think it would be. But yeah, I mean, Fight on Death as well is going to be really good. I think I prefer the generic chaplain to Astaroth. Astaroth doesn't get that many attacks anymore. And yes, his unit can fight on death for free on a 4-up, but I hate those. I absolutely hate those fight again when you die in a 4-up abilities, because we used to have that on all the Ancients, you know, and it was like, sometimes, once in a blue moon when you die, you actually manage to kill something. It doesn't happen nearly often enough, so I'm not really say what you want, I guess, about fight on death. I'd much rather, like, if my units are dying, I'd much rather just pay 2 CP and have the whole unit fight on death than, like, on a 4-up, this one random guy that dies randomly fights. Is what it is, I guess. Considering to buy a Land Raider, then pop Mephiston out with 10 Assault Intercessors. I was thinking of Mephiston plus 5 Assault Intercessors would be fine, Daniel. I was thinking maybe an Impulsor. Why do you think he needs 10 Assault Intercessors? I mean, I think he'd be fine with 5. Guys, if you're enjoying today's stream or you like the channel in general, please remember to hit the like button on any of my videos. It's always super appreciated. Astaroth looks pretty lame. It says 2 scoops. Yeah, I'm not loving what Astaroth looks like now, that's for sure. I wasn't his hugest fan anyway, but yeah, I mean, not overly a fan now, I guess. What's this other? Oh yeah, you can devastating wounds. I mean, I guess the devastating wounds thing might be okay if you've got just like boatloads of chainswords. You just have a 10-man squad of chainswords. How many chainswords attack is that? Like on the charge, like, is it 50 or is it 60? So you just go, I've got 60 chainswords. I can reroll all my hits, and then every 6 to wound is a mortal wound. So my Death Company in turn 1 or whenever they get in early in the game, we're just gonna be like, instantly pop devastating wounds for 10 mortals, and then you're gonna have to make a boatload of chainsword saves as well, because there's a boatload of chainsword attacks with rerolls to hit, right? I mean, it's not horrific. It's not horrific. It's just not my favourite, I guess. James says, I'm sad about the Sangre Priest. I have none of the units you can attach to. Man, I'm sorry to hear that. There's always... I feel like every edition there's some models that... The best advice, I think, is to try not get upset about it and put those models in a shelf or something, because basically anytime Games Workshop make a change that makes certain models redundant or certain models less popular or anything like that, what always seems to happen is like they'll come back next edition. And I think that's where I'm landing on aggressors, right? Like, very few people ran aggressors, even in not Armor of Contempt, even in, what was the last season called? Even in Arcs of Omen, when they made aggressors like much cheaper. I think they were 45 points per model, they took them down to like 30 points per model. Even then, barely anyone ran aggressors. But now, people are thinking, toughness 6, you know, twin-linked power fists, gives a lot of reliability on the wound rolls for those power fists. People are thinking like, yeah, okay, now I'm starting to get interested in aggressors again. So I had 6 bolter aggressors that basically I didn't use in like a year. Well, more than a year, like almost 3 years, I suppose. I think I used them like one time in 9th edition, was like, man, aggressors suck now. So like my thought for that is like, if you've got something that you can't play anymore, try not to get upset, try and put it to the side, try and come back to it. Like, you know, typically Games Workshop will know, they'll have data. They'll be like, no one's running the Sanguinary Priest anymore. That's, you know, this edition or whenever it is. We want to sell some Sanguinary Priests again eventually. So, he will come back. Like, I think if you, like, regular Assault Marines are not bad, and you can attach to those. I actually think Vanguard Veterans are not bad either. I was actually looking at how many Vanguard Veterans I have today with Storm Shields. I actually have 16 Vanguard Veterans fully painted with Storm Shields. I was like, oh wow, okay. I didn't realize I had that many. That's always fun when you find you've got more models. Max out, so you get the maximum leader potential. Yeah, I mean, there's advantages to maxing out, and there's also disadvantages to maxing out, right? The squad size. Blood Angels haven't typically gone with a ton of maxing squads. I think for a while. Maybe we'll see maxing squads come back because of the character attachment, I'm not sure. I don't think there's any squad that I looked at when I was like, yes, I'm definitely maxing that squad. Even Blade Guard, which I think are going to be super strong with the Judiciar attached, or a Primaris Company Champion attached, I'm still not sure that I think that they need to be a max 6. Is it true that you can take 5 or 10 models in a squad and no in between? Victor, I heard that rumour, but I haven't seen it in writing, so I have no idea if that's true or not. I feel like it's probably unlikely to be true, but maybe? Who knows? I think you'll get problems at the end of army lists with a lot of people who have like some points left that they're not able to spend if they do that. I don't know. I hope not, Victor, but I don't actually know. But someone else was asking about that room. The thing is, there's so many rumors. Like, if you go back like a few weeks, there was a rumor that Firstborn Landspeeders were not going to be in the game anymore. It was like, all Firstborn Landspeeders are gone. Well, they're not. All the Firstborn Landspeeders are still there. In fact, Games Workshop said that they were going to get rid of that Firstborn Dreadnought with the double las cannon and missile launcher, basically the same profile as that new Primaris one, the Ballistus. I mean, and the old one, the old Space Marine one, it's 100% in the Codex. You can still play. You can still play a missile launcher Dread if you want. It's there. It's there. I don't know. It's actually good. If you look at its profile, because one of the things I was looking at is like synergies between units, right? Because like that's probably some of the tactics videos I'm going to make are about synergies and what we can figure out. Hambo thinks 5 Blade Guard would be enough. Yeah, I always found 5 I think was the default that I used to run, but for me, because I've got 9 of them now, Cambo, I think I really just want to buy one more squad and then I get 2 full squads of 12. I was going to say, I've got 2 squads of 6. I also really like painting Bladeguard. I don't know, they're cool. Bladeguard are a cool unit, I like them a lot. Just the aesthetic of them and everything. So, yeah, where the hell is my painting handle? Oh, here it is. So yeah, character-wise, going back to Cellar, was it Cellar's question? Yeah, there's, I think the Devastating Wounds, my guy from Astrath, is literally only 1 turn though, right? Sorry, Sellers, your question. I think there's so many options for characters now for Blood Angels. Like, I think Dante is good, I think Sanguinar is good, I think Mephiston is good, I think Judiciar is good, I think Generic Captain is good, I think Sanguinary Priest is good. I don't think we have a problem with characters. Like, I think we're going to be in the same situation we were before, where we have to be smart and not take too many characters. Because I think we have plenty of good character options now. Like Dante attached to Sanguinary Guard, Lamarta's, I don't even know if I mentioned Lamarta's attached to Death Company, Sanguinary Priest and a Captain attached to Vanguard Vets, a Captain or a Chaplain attached to Sanguinary Guard. I mean, even a Tech Marine isn't bad if you're going to bring some shooting, and I mean, you could bring some shooting. So I think there's a lot of questions, I suppose. I'm interested to put 2 land speeders with Redemptors and Whirlwinds on the table if the points are light. Yeah, do you know what? I never even said Redemptors. I am so happy. Like, normally when we go into a new edition, I'm like freaking out about, like, I need to build all these models and I need to paint these models, and I have a semblance of that going on right now. I actually got everything that I own out on the table earlier today and took some photos, so I sort of know what I've got done. Surprised me how much stuff I had, actually. But I got it all out, took some photos. But I think Redemptor Dreadnoughts, for me, are going to be really interesting. Because their toughness is good, their save is really good, they're -1 damage still, which, if you look at it, not many things are now -1 damage. There was something else about Redemptors. Yeah, they've got access to Tank Shock, and they'll be kind of devastating with Tank Shock, because they'll be able to do like a lot of damage from. So a lot of damage in melee, decent damage in shooting, but there's multiple ways to get their shooting buffed. Incursors can help buff their shooting. I think you said it, that land speeders can potentially buff their shooting. So I am sort of tempted to, like, I ran 3 Redemptors before. I ran that in 9th edition a couple of times, and it was okay. It wasn't amazing, because I think the problem with the Redemptors is they used to get blown up a lot by stuff like las cannons. Well, we know in this edition las cannons are -3. In the last edition, when a Redemptor got hit with a las cannon, it was usually like -3 or -4, so most of the time it was just like no save, just take the damage. Whereas now, las cannons are -3, well, I mean, they save on 2s. So we save on 5s, but we could play Armor of Contempt and save on 4s. Redemptors were pretty good with Armor of Contempt. So I think Redemptors are more survivable than they were before. Quite a bit more survivable, like. And I think they need dealt with. Like, their shooting is deadly enough where, like, you can't just, when I used to run double Redemptor, because I did run double Redemptor with the Tech Marine, I ran that a lot more than I actually ran the Sanguinary Priest for a while, right? Because everybody was like, oh, we like the Sanguinary Priest. everybody I played against in my meta knew that I was running a Sangre Priest, and they always try to kill the Sangre Priest first because, like, you know, it stops the revives and all that sort of stuff. So I would often play like Colin. He'd just fly over my whole army and have Mortarion charge the Sangre Priest or something. And it was like, people would always say, like, screen your priest better. And I was like, well, I try, but Mortarion just comes right over, or, you know, and just nukes them. So I was like, once people cottoned on to how good the Sangre Priest was, the enemies just started making sure that they killed the Sangre Priest right nice and early. So I was like, right, I'm running Tech Marine and Double Redemptor. And when I ran Tech Marine and Double Redemptor, the way I always looked at it, and what actually happened when I played games, was like, there's two options. People kill the Redemptors, and if they waste all their firepower in their units killing the Redemptors, then my Sangre Guard and Death Company and other melee units win me the game. This is a Blade Guard I'm painting, Mike. But I'm just jumping about a bunch of models, just getting some base coats on. And then the other one was like, if they ignore the Redemptors and go after all my melee units, which is usually what happens, because people see Blood Angels melee, they know that's what we do. So they kind of end up putting all their firepower and stuff into our melee units, and the Redemptors get ignored. If you ignore two Redemptors the whole game, the Redemptors win me the game, right? Because they kill enough in shooting, they kill enough in combat, where like the Redemptors win the game. So I liked quite a lot, actually, Double Redemptor. Never quite got 3 Redemptors to work as well as I'd hoped, but maybe now with the more survival, more toughness, better armor, still have -1 damage, can do 6 mortal wounds almost. They're gonna, every single time they charge, they're gonna do a bunch of mortal wounds, right? You get to roll 14d for 1 CP. You get to roll 14d6. Is that right? I've got the thing here. If you haven't printed out the quick start guide, now would be the time to do it. Here's the quick start guide, right? Look at this. Tank shop. At the end of the phase, after you end a charge move, select 1 enemy unit within engagement range of it. Select 1 melee weapon. So I'll select my Redemptor with its strength 12 fist. Roll the number of d6 equal to that weapon's strength. So I get to roll 12 d6. If the strength is greater than the enemy's toughness, roll 2 additional d6. So I get to roll 14 d6 when my Redemptors charge. For each 5 up, it's a mortal wound. So 14 d6 times 0.33333, repeating, of course. Let me do that. 14 times 0.3333, 4.6. So for 1 CP when my Redemptor charges, on average I'm going to do 4.6 mortal wounds. So anytime I spike that, so just say 4.5 mortal wounds every single time you charge. Right, that's pretty good to start with, right? And then the I think the Redemptor gets 5 attacks, so it'll be 6 attacks for Blood Angels. So you're going to hit like 4 times, and then you're on strength 13 with -3. The Redemptor's dishing out mortal wounds with the Gatling cannons as well now. Thank God I magnetized them. Yeah, I magnetized all my Redemptors. So I can have plasmas or Gatlings. Maybe like up until now I always sort of said go with the plasmas, but maybe it'd be interesting to have like 1 Redemptor with a Gatling or something. How about that Sanguiner, says Terrence. Yeah, the Sanguiner is going to be big as well. I think someone was saying, imagine if you get charged by some enemy unit that has a character in it, and the character is really buffing that enemy unit. If you got the Sanguiner in reserve, you could bring the Sanguiner down straight away, heroically intervene. You're going to get to fight first, pay your 1 CP for precision, which is, precision is the thing that lets you put your attacks into the enemy character. I think it's called like Epic Challenge. It's on this quick sheet. 1 second, and I'll read it. So the Sanguiner can come down. We can Epic Challenge, and we can just put all his attacks. And I think he's got a lot of attacks, right? 6 attacks. 6 attacks at strength 6 -3 2 damage. You can just throw all his attacks straight away into the enemy character, and if we can, we could potentially snipe that enemy character. So snipe the character right out of the squad that's made the charge, and just be like, haha, what bonus did that character give you? Was it +2? Sorry if you hear the ping, that's my mobile phone. I forgot to silence it before I came on stream. I don't get that many text messages, I'm not that popular. It won't disrupt us too much. The Beak Helmet is amazing. Dude, thank you. This is the Forge World Beak Helmet. Forge World did a special set of Beak Helmets. And I don't think many people bought them. Like, a lot of people didn't like them. I thought they're dope as F. Try not to swear too much on the stream. I thought they were super dope. So I can't remember. I put some of these onto some other characters as well. I think it was I'm forgetting what character I put one of these on. But I love these Forge World Beak Helmets for... I know that I have all my incursors. I have 15 incursors. I have all of them with Beak Helmets. I was going to say, I'm not that popular, but now here come all the text message. Invictor Warsuit meta incoming. Why is the Invictor good, Campbell? I didn't actually read the Invictor very in detail, I guess because it's been so rubbish for so long. Death Company Dreadnoughts can only fight once per phase, page 32. I think you're wrong, Ray. This came up. This came up in Discord, I believe, and I think the consensus is the Death Company Dreadnought special rule will overwrite the rules there that say that he can only fight once. So potentially, if you attack the Death Company Dreadnought 3 times, he can fight 3 times. I think it's we might need to get an FAQ in that, but my understanding is that people do believe, although normally you can only fight once, his rules are like specifically calling out that you can fight multiple times, and usually if it's a specific call out like that, it means it overrides any base rules. So I think the Death Company Dreadnought can fight multiple times. Lee printed and laminated the quick start guide. You're one head instead ahead of me. I was digging around looking for card, Lee. I was like, I gotta have some card in my house. That's something that you don't realize anymore. Like, no one ever has paper or card or any of that stuff anymore. It's all digital now, which is annoying. Sometimes I'm like, I just need a piece of cardboard. There's no cardboard to be found in this house. Brett Tucker, GW just FAQ'd the 44 mortal wound death watch strap. Well, that's good. What do? They just cap it at how many, like 6 mortal wounds or something? I actually kind of thought to myself, Brett, I hope you're having a nice day at work, by the way, Brett. I'm having a great day sitting in the sun here just painting. We need to do a painting stream at my house, Brett, where you just come over. I mean, you literally live 5 minutes away, right? We can just shoot shit, and we can maybe get some beers on the go or something. Hello, Stephen. Charging the Warsuit Strength 15 fists. The Warsuit has a Strength 14 fist by the Warsuit has a higher Strength fist than a Redemptor Dreadnought. That seems strange, but okay, I buy that. Grey Knights have a turn 1 deep strike. I mean, Blood Angels have a turn 1 deep strike now, right? With the Librarian Dreadnought, we can deep strike any unit, any infantry unit turn 1 essentially. For yeah, I mean, you need to roll a 2 up. So I guess like what, 1 in every 6 games it fails or something. So if you go to a tournament and you're playing 5 games, then essentially what you would expect is 4 out of 5 times you'll be able to do a turn 1 deep strike for Blood Angels now. I just think that unit that you're going to turn 1 deep strike, I think you probably want that unit to be both durable, so like Terminators, or have +1 to charge, so that you're like really increasing your chance. I think the +1 to charge is more important, because it just increases your odds of getting that turn 1 alpha strike that much bit higher. Every time the Phobos unit is shot, the Invictor can shoot back. Interesting, you know, I don't own any Invictor Dreadnoughts. I kind of thought they were trash before. Apparently, even in 9th, it says that you can only fight once. So overrides are a thing. I believe that, as it stands, I believe unless they change it, I believe that the Death Company Dreadnought can fight multiple times. because otherwise its rules don't make sense to me. Maybe that needs a cap on it as well, so you could only do it like 2 or 3 times, or maybe twice or something. I do think it's a bit silly when they put in rules that they don't cap, like those mortal wound strats where they can just be like, okay, we can do 50 mortal wounds or whatever, you know, like anything that does mortal wounds. Like, it wouldn't take that much text to just write at the end of it, capped at 6 mortal wounds on every single thing, or just put in a generic thing in the rulebook that like anytime you deal mortal wounds you cannot ever do more than 6 with a single attack or unit or whatever, because it can sort of unbalance things a little bit. But hey, I mean, I'm not Games Workshop, I'll just give you my opinion, right? Excuse me. Death Company Dread, even if he can only fight once, he can still shoot. He can definitely fight multiple times, 100%. Unless they're gonna FAQ that, I think he can fight multiple times. There's no reason that they would have written a rule like that if he can only fight once. I mean, I can get the wording up in a minute if you really need me to, but I think as it stands, he can fight multiple times. That sneeze sounded like a celebration, did it? I mean, maybe I'm still celebrating from our and I mean, this isn't really even our codex, is it? This is just the index. Like, our codex is coming, I don't know, a year from now, and hopefully with some new models and stuff like that, right? I think the biggest problem that I saw with the new rules is like how certain characters have like certain squad restrictions that don't make a ton of sense, and that's like the most limiting factor of it. I mean, I really think they'll reduce some of those squad restrictions over time. Like they'll become looser in terms of, like, you know, for example, like at the moment the Sangregar can only be attached by, is it like Dante and a captain? No one else can attach to them. Like I do think at some point in the future they'll make that a little bit more lenient, or they'll release like a detachment where they're a bit more lenient. Hello Jim, how you doing? More jump pack leaders. Yeah, I mean, I think that'll be what we get in the Blood Angels detachment, right? More leaders, more jump pack leaders that can attach to units. Because I think overall I'm pretty happy with where all our units are. I think the only thing I would have liked is like, I'm really happy with all their strats. The only thing I think I would have liked that we didn't get would have been like a strat that made charges a little bit more reliable. Because our charges aren't the most reliable at the moment, out with like a couple of units. And if you think about when you play a game of 9th edition, think about the amount of times that your +1 to charge actually helps you out and makes that charge. So losing that is going to hurt. It's definitely going to hurt. I guess the question is how much it's going to hurt. What seems good at heavy support? Asks Victor. It's a good question, Victor. Like, if you asked me like a few weeks ago, I was thinking, sorry, my doorbell just rang. I was listening to see if my wife answers it. if it's anyone for me, tell them to go away because I want to scream and paint. Completely lost my train of thought. A few weeks ago I was thinking like Land Raiders don't look too bad, right? Because their las cannons are pretty good. I thought to myself as well, like las cannons in general look much better. So like a Devastator squad with las cannons are not bad. The thing that people are saying that's going to be really good are the Desolation Marines. People think Desolation Marines are going to be amazing, and there's a lot of ways to buff Desolation Marines as well. Sorry, it's roasting here. I'm feeling a headache coming on, even though I'm like gulping out this water bottle. I'm gonna have to go and fill it up in a few minutes. Yeah, the first sign of dehydration is a headache. So, yeah, so I was thinking, like, so Desolation Marines are cool. I was thinking Land Raiders might be cool. Obviously, there's the Gladiator Lancer with the big cannon, but, like, the thing I don't really like about the Gladiator Lancer is, like, just it doesn't really have weight of fire, right? Just, like, 2 shots or something. Yeah, it's pretty reliable, but it is just 2 shots. So there's that, I guess. In my first army, the other thing I was thinking is, like, you could put las fusel eliminators inside, like, a impulsor. I guess there's going to be a bit of trial and error, right? Melta's still really good for AP. So in some ways, Melta's still going to be pretty good because, like, if you kill armor, and then you've got no armor left to kill, Melta's going to wreck infantry. I mean, Melta wrecked infantry before. You don't really want to be firing your Melta guns at infantry, but you do fire them at the infantry, you know, if you've killed all their armor and stuff like that, right? So Melta seems really good Melta's really good in AP, but like not so good in strength into armor, but like the strength is still really good to infantry. So I'm probably at some point going to field Eradicators. I'm probably at some point going to field las fusel eliminators. I'm probably definitely going to field some sort of Desolation squad / Dreadnoughts. So I think there's going to be a lot of like trial and error around there for like what feels like it works best in Blood Angels and what works best for points costs. So yeah, I'm not sure I'm super able to answer your question right now. But that's kind of where it's landing for me. I'm super hyped about Librarian Dreadnought's Seraph Song. Yeah, I mean, who would not be hyped about Librarian Dreadnought? His smite looks crazy, right? Like his smite or his psychic powers, they're like really strong. Really high strength on his 2 powers, which is nice. So and I think the library, like, you could realistically run 2 Librarian Dreadnoughts. I don't know, I only have 1, but like you could run 2. I mean, it just feels like it's such a good model to have. Like the fortress it provides. I don't know if they called it Psychic Fortress, but that's basically what it is. So it's basically like Psychic Fortress along with the jump power. Like, I just think he's great. Yeah. I might buy another, like, part of me was thinking like I might buy another Death Company Dreadnought as well. Vindicators are looking awesome. The Vindicators do look good. I mean, I think 3 plus D6 adds a ton of reliability to them as well, and I think reliability was maybe one of their biggest problems. I actually thought Storm Speeders looked pretty good. Like, I thought all 3 variants of the Storm Speeder looked decent. I have a Storm Speeder which I magnetized. I think it was actually one of the easiest models to magnetize. I don't think tons of Blood Angels players have Storm Speeders, but I thought it looked not bad. Greetings, Colonel Sam. A lot of people tuning in for Wednesday afternoon. Hi guys, how you all doing? You all excited about 10th edition? I know I'm pumped. I spent this whole morning before I came on stream working on YouTube videos. I got like tons of filming done for one, and I have like slides done for the other one. So yeah, I'm pumped for 10th edition. It's exciting times, and yeah, yesterday was my best ever day on YouTube. So thanks for that. Like, I was like 50 views from getting 6,000 views in a single day. I don't think I ever even had over 5,000 in a day before, but I've done 2 days in a row of 5,000 views. It's crazy. Do we have a way to turn off Overwatch? No. That's why I was looking at suppressors this morning and thinking, are suppressors any good? Suppressors will make an enemy, like, their gun profile is now strength 8 minus 1, 2 damage. There's a heavy gun as well, which means if they stay still, they'll get to hit on 2s. And suppressors will make the enemies take a -1 to hit penalty, and it's no longer limited to infantry. So I was looking at suppressors going like, is there any play here around suppressors? Has anyone looked at suppressors and thought, yeah, you know what, I might run suppressors, or does everyone still? Because no one really ran suppressors, right? I mean, a few people here and there maybe ran them. But I don't think they weren't a popular choice for Blood Angels. But no, I don't think there is actually any way to disable or turn off Overwatch. I guess the trick to do that is don't blow your wall. I mean, I'm gonna be here for, like, I think the Blood Angels are in a better spot. Like, I think the rules for Blood Angels look better for 10th edition than they do for 9th edition. I think the issue that we might have is the terrain changes might make it really difficult for us. 12 inches when you can't be inside the terrain is going to be much more tricky to work out. So you're going to have to be making longer charges, I think, than you were ever making in 9th edition. But maybe that... Oh, it's hard to say, I guess. I don't know if the Games Workshop will be releasing terrain maps, or whatever they call it. I've only ever seen suppressors and battle reports, says Frank. Yeah, pretty much me too, Frank. I think 1 time or 2 times someone had them in the army list show. Do we think the Tycho model is coming back? I mean, he came back on Made to Order. I kind of feel like it's our last hurrah for him, because it makes no sense that he's still... Like, I don't know why he's not written out of the lore. You know, like, all the lore about the Indomitus Crusade is moving forward. But Tycho, who died like 20 years ago in the lore, is still getting datasheets for both regular Tycho and for Tycho the Lost. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. The Whirlwind shuts off Overwatch as it gives the unit battle shock. What's the actual wording on the Whirlwind? Oh, it's going to be cool if the Whirlwind's still that important. I didn't realise the Whirlwind was that good anymore. Let me have a look. I was actually thinking of taking the Whirlwind just because it, you know, I've kind of always included it, or I've included it for the longest time, and I thought its damage actually looked decent. In your shooting phase, after this model is shot, if one or more of those attacks made with a Whirlwind scored a hit against the enemy, that must take a battle shock. Okay, so, I mean, it's only on enemy infantry. So potentially the Whirlwind can still shut off Overwatch, but it's not as reliable as it was before, but then you don't have to pay CP like you did before. I guess you can put the value on that yourselves, I'm not entirely sure. There's no way Tycho gets a new model. Yeah, I mean, why did he even get rules? And his rules are really good. Don't get me wrong, like, Tycho's rules are legitimately good. I think the Death Company Tycho is super, like, the way of... I don't think I will play a Rhino in Tycho. And I don't think, like, I've been playing Blood Angels for the longest time, but I've never really made it, like, apart from some Primaris squads, all my firstborn models, all my firstborn like Assault Marines, Vanguard Veterans, they all have jump packs on them. Like I never did a squad without jump packs. Even with my Death Company, back in the day when you couldn't just buy jump packs, and I feel like I bought Death Company. I bought like packs of Assault Marines and stuff to give Death Company more jump packs. Because I think way back when, I don't think the original box of Death Company came with jump packs. It came with a chaplain, but it didn't come with jump packs. So even since I was a very young kid, like you're talking like 30 years ago, I always made sure that all my close combat stuff had jump packs. Because why would you not have jump packs when they move 12 rather than... Didn't Marines used to only move like 4 inches as well? Like I don't think Marines always even moved 6. I think there was a while Marines moved 4 inches. So yeah, like I've been collecting Space Marines since the 90s. Probably the early 90s. So I just don't have any Firstborn without jump packs. So it's like I don't really have a squad that could attach super well to Tycho. But like, if I had 5 Death Company Marines that I could throw in a Rhino with them, like, it sounds tempting. Anyone else considering Reavers? I am most definitely not considering Reavers. Why do you think... What's the thing about Reavers? Tycho and a Terrax. The Terrax is deprecated, Steve. There's no more Terrax. It's a sad day. The Terrax is one of the Forge World models they are moving to Legends. Otherwise, I would be all for Tycho and a Terrax. I think that'd be cool. Just put backpacks on them. Yeah, I mean, I suppose I could rip off all their jump packs and put on backpacks. I really hate modifying models that are finished, though. It takes me so long to finish stuff. Like, so long. It took me a long time to finish stuff before I had 2 kids, and now it just takes me forever. That's why I was pissed. I don't know if I was pissed. I was just a bit sad. Like, you know when they announced that all that Forge World stuff went to Legends, there was like, I was walking around for like 2 days basically just feeling depressed. My wife was like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, they basically made like £1,000 of my Warhammer stuff worthless. And she was like, she was saying to me like, oh well, that sucks. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I think I'm more annoyed about the time that I spent on it than the money though, because I don't get a lot of time with the 2 kids, you know? It's like if if they just... So I was gonna buy an Astreus. Like people always donate super chats to me and say like, buy an Astreus. So I was thinking at some point, like, I'm gonna buy an Astreus. Sure, that, like, an Astreus is a cool tank, but it's like, if they're just gonna deprecate random Forge World models, I'm not gonna buy an Astreus to spend like 100 hours on it because I'm slow. You guys know I'm slow. It takes me about 8 hours. Like, I've been doing this guy for what, like half an hour, and maybe even an hour, and I've barely got anything done on him. I think a model like this takes me 8 to 10 hours. So a big fucking tank takes like 100 hours. So 100 hours just to get told like, oh, you can't play this in competitive play anymore. I'm like, I'm just not interested in at all in that situation. I suppose I could get quicker at painting, but I don't know. I paint the way I paint. I don't know how to get quicker. Antonio's bought 2 Death Company extra kits. Yeah, they come with jump packs now. They never used to, because I've got a bunch of Death Company jump packs on my Vanguard vets actually. Because I like how the Death Company jump packs have all those little extra frilly bits on it, or whatever you call them. They have like little wings and I guess purity seals and stuff like that, right? Antonio's just ripped weapons off his Vanguard vets. See, I don't do that because Steve says I have 2 Astreuses. Are they legends now? 2 Astreuses are not legends, Steve, but they're $265. And like after, like I spent 200 and how much? I think when I bought the Falchion, it was under 200. But like inflation these last couple of years has been mental, right? Falchion Forge World. So like the Falchion now costs it costs £235. It's like £235 just to be told that you can't use that tank anymore. I typically don't play non-competitive. Like I like competitive play if it I'll play the odd game of non-competitive. Like if Kev really wanted to play Tempest of War, I'm like, okay Kev, we'll play Tempest of War. We're gonna do some boarding actions and maybe that's non-competitive. So like I will play non-competitive, but my main thing is competitive play. So if I buy a model for like £200, I want to be able to use it competitively. And I don't ever want the situation where it's like, oh, you can't now use that model because reasons. Brian says, I feel you're retiring models, that's why I don't want to buy mini Marines. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have been worried about buying Firstborn Marines because they kept thinking that they might, I guess, get deprecated as well. See, I recently bought, because I didn't have a lot of Death Company with hammers, right? Like, I had a big Death Company made, but they were mostly chainswords. Maybe a couple of guys with power fists, and I definitely didn't have anyone with, what was super meta this edition? Infernal Pistols and Power Swords. That was what everybody was saying. Like, Infernal Pistols, Power Swords, Death Company, they're super cheap, they're super good, and I didn't have like any of them, maybe one or something. You know, one that I randomly made like 10 years ago. Most of my Death Company were just well, my Death Company were actually bolters and chainswords, because if you go back an edition or two, Death Company were allowed bolters and chainswords, and then he changed it so they can just have bolt pistols and chainswords. I didn't update mine. If anyone said anything to me, they were like, why have your Death Company still got bolters? Not that anybody ever did, and I ran them to a bunch of events. I was just going to be like, well, they were allowed bolters last edition, and I hate ripping finished models apart to change weapon options on them. I just genuinely hate it. So yeah, my Death Company, a bunch of the... So I bought a couple of boxes of Death Company and a couple more boxes of Sangre Guard, just because there was a hot minute there last edition where Sangre Guard were really good, and I didn't have barely any with Infernal Pistols, and Infernal Pistols are really good. So it's like, I get it. You know, I bought a lot of Firstborn stuff recently, a couple of $100. I also just bought that Terrax in January, February, March. I bought it in April. I also bought a Vindicator Laser Destroyer in April, so I literally spent $200 on Forge World like a month. And then finished both those models, or almost finished them both. I literally did that a month before they said those models aren't getting rules anymore. So yeah, for me that's a tough pill to swallow, man. Milo said he's watched the game as well, where Tyranids absolutely bloodbath Blood Angels. Why did they bloodbath them? Like, was the Blood Angels? Who was playing Blood Angels? And was he like, he just had his whole army out in the open or something? Like, Blood Angels will lose games if your army's out in the open. That's why, like, I remember a couple of tournaments, people actually said like that they were just really impressed with my deployment, because they were like, you deployed so well that I couldn't see anything in turn one. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of how Blood Angels need to play. Like, we're not a durable army. We're a fast-moving, fast-hitting army, but durability is not our thing. So, like, when you deploy in turn one, you really need to deploy in a situation where the enemy cannot see a single one of your models. And even after they've moved, like they've moved their tanks 10 inches or whatever, they shouldn't be able to see any of your models. If they can, then one of two things has happened. One, the train's been against you, and that does happen. There is games where it's like you can't hide everything at the start of the battle, and you are going to lose something. It is very difficult to hide a 2,000 point army entirely behind terrain. It takes a lot of practice. But the other thing could be like you just deployed poorly. And I mean, I've definitely done it myself, right? I've deployed poorly and I've lost units in the early game from shooting, whereas if I deployed them better, potentially I could have lost nothing from shooting. And I think that, I mean, that's a real thing. Like, Blood Angels are not, like, let me state that again, we're not durable. Even if you have, like, Vanguard Veterans with a Sangre Priest, which is arguably probably the most durability we can get, I'd say that's still not durable. Like, you will still lose a lot of guys when you get shot. Like, you don't ever want to be... If you can avoid being shot, then 100% you want to always avoid being shot. Pro Settings says you'll miss my laser destroyer. Brian said about Infernal Pistols. I'm actually okay with Infernal Pistols. They were probably a little bit silly. All doing D6 damage. Hopefully they get the points costs adjusted to make sense for their new profile, right, Brian? Like, I guess that would be the main thing. I'm happy that they made Angelus bolt guns pistols, though. I think that's good. I think that's a really good change. Because when I first looked at it, I was like, oh, Angelus bolt guns lost some range, because they used to be 12 inches. And I think them being pistols rather than assault weapons is much better. Because I don't think I got all that use out of them when they were assault weapons, whereas, like, Sangre Guard are probably always going to end up at some point in combat. Good afternoon, Trivial Pursuit, how are you? It's bedtime in Australia, says Nefarious. Nefarious, thanks so much for watching. Please make sure you come over to our Discord. I don't know if I've seen you in there. John, your fully painted army looks amazing in Discord, thank you. I can put up a photo of it. I took a bunch of photos today, actually. I'm working on my next YouTube video. Where did I put them? I put them on my F drive. From the camera. Yeah, here we go. This was the fully painted army. Let me see if I've got another shot. It's not so. Have I got an overhead that's got the whole army? Yeah, this is everything I own then at the moment. This is fully painted. I have about the same again that's half painted. I really wanted to do this video because this took me a lot of time. I had to take all my models downstairs, set them up, etc. I really wanted to have my Primaris Dante for this video, or for this, because I haven't made a new video with everything that I had for like 3 years. So yeah, this is what I have right now, fully painted, and unfortunately the Tarax is gone, the Contemptors are gone, the Leviathan is gone, and the so basically half of my armor detingement is gone. All I'm left with is my Whirlwind, my Gladiator, my Librarian Dreadnought, and my 3 Redemptors. So both Contemptors, the Tarax, the Leviathan has gone. The real question is, will John have Dante before 11th edition? Yeah, I mean, that is genuinely becoming a question at this point. They don't even have a release date on it. I think I'm probably going to get my box of... I think my box of Leviathan is going to come before Dante. And it's going to have been... the release date 2 months after. It's ridiculous. Oh well. I guess I'm just not that important. Do you have any box knots? The only one that's fully painted is the Librarian Dreadnought. I have a bunch of them though. I even have a bunch of the metal ones. What I always talk about, Cambo, is like I always tend to paint the things that are really competitive. And I guess like I don't know if I ever really saw box knots as all that competitive for Blood Angels. I thought the Librarian Dreadnought was sure competitive, and I actually am about to... So I just slapped 3 colours on this Judiciar. Red, brown... Well, he's actually got 4 in him. I'm just slapping 3 colours on this Blade Guard. I was just going to tidy up some of this red that I managed to get everywhere that I didn't want red, basically. So I was just going to do that. And then I just off camera have this guy. The the Blood Angel's Dreadnought with a Magna Grapple. So I was going to just slap 3 colours on him. I don't think I've used that model when it's been unpainted, but I've not used him in like... I don't think I used my Death Company Dreadnought at all in 9th edition. I used it in 8th edition, like in a friendly game to test it out, because it used to be able to get +3 to charge against vehicles. Well, I think it's better now because it's +2 to charge against monsters and vehicles. Most enemies are going to have vehicles, most enemies are going to have monsters now, right? So I really am... the things that I think I'm like... I'm always buying Warhammer, it's like my vice. That's probably why I'll never finish painting all my Blood Angels. That's why I probably don't try and get another army on the go, because like I'll just never finish my Blood Angels. But I think the things that stand out to me at the moment is like I do want some more Blade Guard, and I think I do want a second Death Company Dreadnought. I think I might wait to see if the Death Company Dreadnought gets an FAQ. If he doesn't, and he can fight multiple times like we think he can, then I think he's really good. Just because of the ability to get the extra charge range. Like I said, there's not many ways to get to lower charge distance now in the Codex. But the Death Company Dreadnought has a way of making the charge easier. So he'd be a perfect candidate for reserve, I think. You could reserve him, you could get a really reliable charge. And he's a cool model, isn't he? Alright, I'm going to get some water, because it's like 1,000,000 degrees in here. And take a piss. I'll be back in a minute. The Blood Angel's range refresh is potentially enormous. I mean, it could be. Yeah, I'm gonna take a piss, I'll be right back. Water. Hello. Steve says we're looking forward to all the glorious content you're going to put out in 10. Steve, I'm looking forward to making glorious content. I can't wait. Can't wait to do the first live battles as well. I think overall I'm pretty excited. I think we've landed in an okay place. Yes, things could have been better, but I think overall I don't think I've got anything that I need to complain too much about. I have no idea how to paint a Death Company Dreadnought. Let me Google it. Death Company Dreadnought. I'm just going to copy the Games Workshop one. The art that's online, I guess. Death Company Dreadnought. Well, they made theirs very black, but that's fine. Oh. Lee's gonna have to buy a library in Dreadnought. Yeah, you probably are. If we don't have Dante already, how would we get one now? I mean, join the queue, James. I mean, you go to gamesworkshop.com and he's sold out. Maybe there's somewhere that it's not sold out, but I mean, I don't have mine. I ordered mine on the 15th of April, so like 2 months ago, man. I ordered mine on pre-order day. It's not a bloody pre-order if they don't have it, which is my opinion of it. But whatever. Can I still use basic contemptors but only multi-melt or assault cannon for weapons?
I have awoken.
I hear the US has some. Great, Jason. I mean, that doesn't help me. But yeah, great. US, if you're in the US, you can get a Dante. Thanks so much for becoming a member of 13 months, Jason. I do really appreciate it. The regular Contemptor actually looks pretty good. I have I don't have an assault cannon. I have one that's got a multi-melter. I like how it's still got a 5-up invan on the regular one, and I do like how it will revive. It revives on a 2-up, which is actually kind of crazy. So yeah, the regular Contemptor Dreadnought for me seems fine. Like I would run a regular Contemptor Dreadnought. Scoot in melee as well. So like just run it across the board, try and get it into melee. It's probably going to die, but it's probably going to revive. I like the regular Contemptor. Chronosin says he needs to get around to building Dante. That's heresy. If you have Dante, you stopped me getting it and you're just sitting on it, not building it. Damn you, Chrono saying. I'm sure it would. I don't know. I think I always order from Element Games. I like Element Games. They're always very good to me. They have a nice affiliate system that helps me out as well. So I guess they just didn't get very many Dantes, and there's not much you can do about it. What do you think of the Brutalis in 10th? The Brutalis is crazy. I have one that's on sprue behind me. I bought Augustus. I kind of need to make it. That's why for the next probably couple of months you'll just find me slapping 3 colors on models. Like I'll just get stuff battle ready, and then once I figure out what's strongest, I'll probably like hone in and hone, like focus my painting on stuff to finish models. Because I have a giant drawer of stuff that's like, you see how I just put 3 colors on that those two guys. I have a drawer of Terminators and Aggressors and Inceptors, all that just have like basic battle ready. I didn't include any of them in the picture that I took earlier today, but the point of all the battle ready stuff is just like at some point I will get it finished, but I just get it battle ready so I can play with it at a tournament or anything like that. I mean, that's essentially what I'm going to be doing now on this Death Company Dreadnought, is just getting him battle ready. The very, very basics of battle ready, I guess. I think this one has been changed to have 2 flavors. I guess that I think he must have had some other weapons at some point and I ripped one of them off because you can see the glue and stuff. I'm just going to paint over all this. I think I was maybe trying to keep the cost of him down, because I think he had a melta gun before and I was trying to fit him in a list, so I was like, let's give him 2 flavors, that's nice and cheap. Some people do green claws. I think I'm going to do blue. My theory is Dante wasn't supposed to... No, a lot of people thought Dante wasn't supposed to come out for a while, right? But like, if he wasn't supposed to come out for a while, my guy, and I suppose nobody knows, his rules were in the Arcs of Omen book. And those books are printed out months in advance, right? Like, it's not like they can just be like, hey, add a page to the Arts of Omen book because we've got to release Dante early. Like, those books have to be printed, like, in China, probably, because it's cheaper in, like, it's cheaper in, like, one of those countries in like, I don't know how to describe it, but there's definitely countries like Taiwan and China and all that they have cheaper labor. Is that what it is? So the books are probably printed in China. I bet you if you read in the book, it probably says somewhere where it's printed, and it's probably printed somewhere where it's cheaper to print books than it is in the UK. And then typically those books probably go on a ship rather than a plane, right? Because again, it'll be cheaper to put them on a ship than it will be to fly them across. Books are heavy. They could probably fit more of them in a giant shipping container, so they probably put it in a shipping container. So if they put the books in a shipping container and they have to print them, so they probably printed, like, I don't know, I imagine like the Dark Angels Codex, which is coming out in like 3 months. I'd be surprised if that book wasn't already like finished, in terms of like they know what content's in it, they've like signed off on all the pages. Like, that'll need to be printed like a month in advance, because then it'll need to go on a ship for a month, give or take, to go all the way around the world, and then they need to make sure it's everywhere it needs to be before they actually launch it. So I think that just maybe they probably were focusing on building a ton of the Leviathan sets, and I get that. Kevin says, I bought a 3D print of the Brutalis arms to go and put on an extra Redemptor. I have from the Combat Patrol. That's a great idea, Kevin, and also thank you so much for 27 months of membership. Dude, that's some... You guys that are like 20-something months, man, I take my hat off to you. Thank you so much for supporting me for so long. It means so much to me. I really do appreciate it. When I started the channel, I was having a really tough time in general in life, and this channel has been like a beacon of, I don't know, awesomeness for me, so thank you. I'd be interested to know where you got 3D prints for the arms, actually, because like I don't really want to buy 2 more Brutalises, and hell, you can't even buy Brutalises at the moment, right? Because they were only in that Strike Force Augustus box. I don't have a 3D printer, but my good friend Andrew does, so he printed a Contemptor for me before, like a whole Contemptor, and I think it was when Volkite Contemptors were like super popular and they were out of stock for the longest time. Like, he printed me a Volkite Contemptor, and the print is such a good print. It'd be hard, if you looked at it next to the official model, it'd be hard to see the difference. So if you're on Discord, Kevin, I'd love it if you would send me a link, or I'll buy the STL file, however that works, because I'm trying to think. All my Redemptors are magnetized. Or, yeah, no, all of them have the right arm magnetized, because I wanted to switch the guns, so if I could switch out one of the right arms for a claw and then have like 2 Brutalises, I could do that. If you're going to get a hold of Seraphim Torso for Bits of War, you could kit bash a Judiciar. I think you could probably kit bash a Judiciar. You just need any Primaris model that goes on the 40mm base, so the same model size as the Blade Guard. Give him a large sword, and you can probably get away with that. You can put something in his other hand that's somewhat exciting. Maybe that's all he needs. Like, I mean, as long as you're, like, if you were playing at a tournament and you're going to use a converted model for a Judiciar, if you just say to your opponent, hey, this is my Judiciar because you can't buy him on Games Workshop out of a bundle that is £100, I think 99% of your opponents are not going to have a problem with that. If someone's got a problem with that, I would just take it to the tournament organizer. Because when I went to the tournament with my broken arm, which I won, by the way, that was the only tournament in 9th edition that I won, but when I went with the broken arm, some of the paint jobs on my models were terrible, and one of my models fell apart, and like I just couldn't get it to stick back together because I didn't have good super glue with me and I had a broken arm, and no one cared. Like, everybody understood. Everyone was super, you know, everybody at that tournament was awesome. Everyone at most of the tournaments that I've been at are awesome, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, you will get the odd problem player, I suppose, but like, just say to the TO, like, hey, you know, this is my Judiciar. Or just say to your opponent, this is my Judiciar. They're not going to have a problem. And if they do, then go to the TO. I really don't think they'll have a problem. Sellers says he's a bit short this month, and you can count on me for membership. Sellers, there's no pressure for membership, dude. You're a solid member of the community. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody that comes and watches the stream. Don't ever feel the need. Don't ever feel like you're not part of the community because you can't afford membership 1 month. It's not important, honestly. Hey Robert, how you doing? I think when I first started the channel on the Army List show, I gave members priority. You know, like members got their armies reviewed quicker than non-members. We might go back to that in 10th edition, right? Like if there's shitloads of if there's shitloads of army lists coming in, you know, like because I can only do about 5 army lists a week. So let's say there's 10 army lists coming in. I will prioritize members again, right? Like because the members, in some ways, you know, like membership is great for me. Don't get me wrong. So I might prioritize members again, but I will always do some non-members as well, right? Like I'm not ignoring members. I never did that. I would do like, all right, the membership queue gets a little bit more priority, but we do also cover non-members lists. So that will continue. I think there's going to be a lot of variance on lists, and I think that's the thing I'm most excited about, right? Because like in 9th edition, there was like a 6-month period or longer where there was like one Blood Angels list, and this is the best list, and if anyone played anything but this list, you were dumb because this was the best list. And I kind of hated that, and I never really conformed to that because I don't like copying a list off the internet. I like making my own army lists. I think that's one of the fun things, is like figuring out your synergies and stuff. So I'm looking forward to like lots of different lists with lots of different synergies, and people coming up with shit that I didn't even see, because that's always fun when someone comes up with this and someone's like, I've actually filmed a video this morning, or I made slides for a video this morning where it's just like something that I didn't even see when I was reading through the codex, and someone put it in one of the YouTube comments, and I was like, oh my god, that's genius. Okay, I'm making a video on this. So I've already got like a video on that where like someone has figured out the stuff, and I think that's way cooler than just like, hey, you just need to run 3 squads of Death Company and 3 squads of Sangre Guard, and to hell with everything else. I worry about problem players, but they're few and far between. Yeah, I think that you're right. I think they are few and far between. I was at like probably like 15 or probably 15, between 10 and 15 tournaments in 9th edition, and I met like 1 or 2 problem players. So like I had what, like 65 different opponents, and I got on really well with like 63 of them. I think it's, you know, it's 1%. Is it possible to support us on Twitch? I would love it if it was possible to support on Twitch, Crozier, but the Twitch have this really silly thing where like you have to put all your content on Twitch first, and it has to be exclusive on Twitch for I think it's 48 hours. So like unfortunately I built my this is a YouTube channel first, I'm on Twitch secondary, I guess. So no, there's no way you can support me on Twitch. I would have to put all my content on Twitch exclusively to begin with, and I'm not going to do that, I guess. See, it's like, because Twitch want to be the main platform, but for me anyway, YouTube are the main platform. Turn says it's a nice perk. Yeah, we'll keep it, Turns. We will keep it. Yeah, I mean, I'm 100% going to keep it. But I do always try and at least review some of the non-members lists as well. So I think I'm going to try and do a little bit better with the membership perks as well, actually, because I was thinking about this. Like, there's going to be more cheat sheets. There's going to be more cards to make for 10th edition. I'm going to be making some for myself. So whatever I end up making for myself, I'll make sure to share around with the community, and membership will get you that. So let's kind of do a refresh, because I did have a cheat sheet for 9th edition, but it's well out of date now, Terrence. So I'll work on getting some new perks for members done as well. Damien, what's happening? Unfortunately, you're catching me at the end of the show again. I am going to be streaming till my kids come home. It's 4 o'clock now. My wife was supposed to be picking them up at 4, so I only got... I'm on borrowed time at the moment. I mean, I think I managed to get what I wanted, though. So I got a Blade Guard. He's got 3 colours on him. The second Judiciar I've got, he's got 3 colours on him. The Death Company Dread technically is going to have 3 colours on him as well once I've done these claws blue. I mean, it's bare minimum, but it does have 3 colours. Mike's been training some AI to see what crazy combos he can come up with. Are you serious, Mike? Hey, thank you so much for following Obi-Wan Kenobi. I have the high ground, though. Appreciate that, dude. There's so many possibilities in list building now since Terrence. Yeah, and I think that's what's going to be the funnest. This is a Weird Looking Brutalis. This is a Death Company Dreadnought. Did you not see Did you not see how good Death Company Dreadnoughts are, Robert? The things that I think I want to buy right now are Warblade Guard, to have 12 of them. Another Death Company Dreadnought, to have 2 of them. I was gonna say another Brutalis, but hopefully, Kevin, you're gonna hook me up with STL to 3D print. Like, I don't need you to send me the STL. I'll buy the STL. I just need to know what STL it is, so I can put a second combat arm on one of my Redemptors, and then not have to worry about. Well, you can't even buy the Brutalis Dreadnought at the moment, and God knows when that's going to come back into stock, because Leviathan is obviously going to take time or whatnot. Stevens, I'm going to be doing... I was going to say, I was speaking to James Fisher earlier this week on Discord. James was the guy that came over from Canada, not Canada, sorry, Chicago, that was on the channel, and he's a big Blood Angels player, and he goes to a lot of tournaments as well. So, I was speaking to James about maybe doing some sort of like Blood Angels Dream Team collaboration. So, and like you said, like a state of the chapter or whatever you want to call it. So that is on my radar. It might happen this week, it might happen next week. I need to actually reply to that PM. I often get PMs on my phone and stuff, and then just, I'm lazy, I guess. I don't always reply to my PM straight away. Check Discord for the STL. Alright, you guys rock. I will see if I can't buy it and get maybe just 3D print one arm. Because I was thinking... I think I wanted to try multiple. Nathan, thank you so much for subscribing. I was thinking I was wanting to try multiple Brutalises as well. See, for the Death Company Dreadnought, though, does anyone actually prefer the Blood Talons to the Furioso Fists? Like, if you with the Death Company Dreadnought, both are going to be twin-linked, right? I think I prefer the Fists. Anyone prefer Blood Talons? If we go historically as well, like in terms of like the older rules, they always used to be like +5 or 10 points to take Blood Talons over the Fists. Trivial Pursuit was going to redo them with the fists. Mine are built with talons. I'm just going to say they're fists when I make my army list. Trivial Pursuit. What do you think of Mephiston with 10 Death Company Intercessors? Can he attach to Death Company Intercessors? I thought you could only attach to Assault Intercessors, Brian. Blood Talons look cooler. Yeah, I mean, like, make them with the Blood Talons, but just for when you're making your army list for a tournament, just say that they're the fists. That's what I'm doing. But yeah, Death Company Dreadnought really really shined out at me as like a unit that you might want more than one of. And I really love how we don't have the nonsense where we have to wait until turn 3 to be good anymore. You know, we had to wait for Savage Echoes, we had to wait for the Assault Doctrine, like, thank God that's gone, because I wasn't a fan of that stuff at all. Not one bit. Antonius says we're looking forward to getting the points on Friday. Yeah, it will be nice to see points costs for all this. It'll help us. Well, that'll definitely help with some of this army lists creation or all the million questions people might have, right? So yeah, I'm looking forward to points costs as well, big time. Dawnstone. Ooh, tired, man. Haven't done anything today. I think that's why I'm tired. Sit around all day doing nothing, and then it's like, because you've done nothing, you're tired. What are we liking from the troop section? Well, they're not really troops anymore, right? They're just battle line. I actually was looking at intercessors, and the reason I like intercessors is the sticky objectives. Infiltrators still look great, incursors look better than they did before. But like, part of me was like, should I just try and fit a squad of intercessors in here, because I do like Space Marine sticky objectives. That's helped me a lot, like, to win games and stuff in 9th edition. Surf Song says regular intercessors. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Regular intercessors look better than you might think, just because sticky, right? Have we seen the Agents of the Imperial rules? We saw the sniper. The sniper actually looked really good. What is it? The Vindicator Assassin. As far as other rules, if they were released this afternoon, I haven't seen them. I've been streaming since like 2 o'clock, and before then I was actually filming a video for release on Friday. So yeah, if there was new rules today, I haven't seen them yet. Fighter, thank you so much for becoming a member, dude. I appreciate it. And Cursors with a Phobos Librarian looks cool, but losing Scout is annoying. Yeah, I mean, losing Scout is pretty annoying. Reavers found a way to still not be good. Yeah, Reavers are just, I don't know what, Games Workshop just don't like Reavers, I guess. Which is a pity. I mean, the best thing about Reavers is you take their helmets and give them to another model, because they look cool. I mean, I just don't know if I can find myself a way to justify another box of Reavers for their helmets. Is it me, or the Death Company Intercessors do not have keywords to their bolt rifles? I mean, if there's no keywords on their data sheets, then there's no keywords, right? Death Company Intercessors are a weird unit, right? Like, I believe the box set for them is not that good. I've never actually bought it. Dude, really appreciate the membership. Thank you so much. So I believe the box set for them is not that good. It was just like a squad of intercessors with like a Blood Angels upgrade sprue, like not even a Death Company specific upgrade sprue, just a Blood Angels one. So, like, I never bought Death Company Intercessors, and, like, for me, Death Company always needed to have jump packs to be good. I guess they could be a bit better now. I can bring up the codex, hold on. Death Company Intercessors. Right, I just got a few more minutes, because I'm sure my wife and kids are going to be home in a minute. Their bolt rifles do not have any keywords, so that sucks. They have no pre-game move, so that kind of also sucks, and they also have limited access to special weapons, i.e. like one guy can take a Thunderhammer. So yeah, I mean, I don't understand Death Company Intercessors, honestly. The worrying thing is that Death Company Intercessors is like what's happened to the Vanguard Vets, and in a slightly different way, it's what's happened to the Sanguinary Guard, right? Where like Sanguinary Guard now, it used to be any number of models can take Power Fists, right? Whereas now it's like one model for every 5 can have a Power Fist. And that's kind of what the Death Company Intercessors are, where it's like one... Is it one model in the squad, or is one for every 5 can take a Thunderhammer? So it's like Games Workshop trying to balance some of these squads by limiting how many special weapons they can get. And I mean, essentially that's what's happened with the Vanguard Vets, and that's why some people are really upset about Vanguard Vets. It's actually kind of surprising they didn't do like, for every 5 models in the Vanguard Vet squad, you would be allowed like one Thunderhammer or something, because that's really what they're pushing, right? To try and like balance some of this stuff. However, it just doesn't seem like they've quite got it right yet. Death Company Intercessors get Black Rage, so they get to reroll their guns. I mean, I guess that's something. They can reroll hits on their guns. Cool. Do you like scouts? I mean, do you mean the scout model, or Brian, or do you mean like the rule, like the new scout rule where models can basically get a pre-game move? I mean, pre-game moves are useful for sure. What about Death Company Intercessors with chainswords? Yeah, I mean, if you can find a way to deliver them, I mean, the amount of chainswords they get is not bad. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. For me, you're always going to be like, I would always take a jump pack over an extra attack with a chainsword. Because like in the late game, when like a lot of things are dead and you're trying to get across the board to certain objectives or something like that, one extra attack from a chainsword is going to kind of always be worse than having a 12-inch move. Right? But having a pre-game move is not a bad rule to have in general. I just don't know if like... I don't know if I'm sold on like any of these models are really going to get like a maximum benefit out of having a like what are they going to be able to do pre-game that's going to like change the course of the game? The only model that maybe is going to be good for a pre-game move is like Vanguard Veterans without jump packs, because they could have a 6-inch move inside a dedicated transport, so they can get their transport across the battlefield quicker. But again, for me, it comes down to like, I don't really own any of those models. Like all my firstborn infantry Vanguard Veterans have jump packs, and I prefer them with jump packs. So I feel like it's going to be unlikely that I feel like it's probably going to be unlikely that I care enough to... Yeah. It really comes down to like, so I played Seth a couple of times recently. Like I played him on stream, and the thing about Seth is like he's great, but he's also really slow. So like Seth's objectively better now because he can advance and charge. But when you get to the end game, you know, when you're on one objective 20 odd inches away from the other objective, and you really need Seth over there to help out, you just can't get there. Even with advance and charge, I don't think you can get there. So it's like, for me anyway, just, I don't own that many firstborn models without well, firstborn close combat models without jump packs. Hold on. Jeremiah has asked, so I have 2 boxes of unbuilt Vanguard veterans. Should I make them Death Company, Assault Marines, or Van Vets? In the off chance they get their mojo back. Well, first you should watch the video I did on Van Vets yesterday, Jeremiah, because their damage output is really not as bad as people are thinking it might be. Not for Blood Angels anyway, maybe for other chapters. For Blood Angels, their damage output is actually pretty good. If you used Oath of Moment on them as well, their damage output would be even better. So yeah, I would really... If you go onto my channel and watch the video I did yesterday on Vanguard Veterans, that's going to answer some of those questions. It depends on, do you have Death Company with jump packs? Because I feel like if you don't have Death Company with jump packs, I might build those Vanguard Veterans as Death Company with jump packs. Centurions, Aggressors, and Blade Guard are the greatest wing targets. In some ways, I think Blade Guard are going to be the best target, Serve Song. Or could you do a command squad in Tycho? Can the Librarian now port Seth? I mean, technically he can, yeah. I don't see why he wouldn't be able to. The Librarian has decent range on that as well, right? Because you have to be within 12, but he moves 6. So basically any infantry within 18 inches of him can be ported, which is quite good because technically I suppose you could move the infantry closer to Librarian Dreadnought as well, right? What? When does the Librarian Dreadnought, is it in the shooting phase he does it? Or is it in the movement phase? Let me pull that up. I like this tune. Once per turn at the end of your movement phase. Yeah, so I suppose if you're 24 inches away from him, you move 6 towards him, he moves 6 towards you, and then you're within 12 and he can teleport you. It's actually quite a long range. Did Jeremiah say what he's got? No. Alright, Jeremiah. Thank you so much for the 499. Let me know what you've got at the moment. Like, have you got Death Company Marines? What have you got? Because that'll really influence what you need to make. You can teleport any infantry. Yeah, so maybe, I mean, a command squad with Tycho going in turn 1 might... The reason... The issue I have with the Wings of Sanguinius is a 9-inch charge with a reroll is only 50%. So what you need is some way to get plus to charge if you're going to wing something in. There's only, like, I think there's only 3 ways to get +1 to charge that I know of at the moment. And the 3 ways are Dante with the Sanguinary Guard, he gets +1. Primaris Ancient, no, not Primaris Ancient, sorry. Primaris Chapter Champion, you know, the made to order one they just did last week or whatnot. I really don't understand why they put like Tycho and Seth and that champion on made to order, and then didn't tell us that they were going to get rules for 9th edition, and then gave them all like pretty decent rules. It's like why not tell people? Like, you're going to sell more if you tell people. I don't understand. You know, so I was lucky. I bought that Primaris Chapter Champion, the one that looks like he could be joined to the Blade Guard, and in fact he can be joined to the Blade Guard, and he will give Blade Guard +1 to their charge, which is arguably going to be really useful if you want to make that turn 1 charge. But it's really strange that they didn't tell anybody that that's what they were going to do. I don't understand it. Command Squad with Tycho, 2 las cannons with shields, give them rapid fire. Command Squad are 3 wounds and can res any of the members because they aren't characters, only Tycho is. Is 43% for 9-inch with rerolls? Nah, it's not 43%. There was a graphic shared on Discord earlier. Let me bring it up for you. Well, do you know what? I've got it on my I've got it on my Google Drive. One sec. Okay. I need to remember where this damn graphic is. I'm sure it was on Discord earlier. Oh, that's my wife home. Alright, I only got like 2 minutes and I'm gonna have to tie up the stream. Where is the graphic? Hold on. Yeah, this one. Let me change my monitor so you can see it. 9-inch charge with a reroll is 47%. An 8-inch charge, so that would be your Blade Guard with +1 or Dante with +1 with your reroll, is basically 2 out of 3, just shy of 66%. And then the 7-inch charge, which will be your Death Company Dreadnought with its +2 from Magna Grapple, will be 82. So Death Company Dreadnoughts with, like, that's why I think reserve 2 Death Company Dreadnoughts. Bring in 1 in turn 2, bring in 1 in turn 3, go after vehicles or monsters. That's your best way to get those charges, right? You realize your math is wrong. Okay, cool. I was gonna flame your maths here in a second. No, I'm going to have to wrap up this stream. I guess this guy has 3 colors on him now. I mean, technically he has 4. Just very got a tiny little bit of paint left on the palette. I'm going to use that and then I'm going to wrap the stream up. I'm going to have a new video coming out Friday as always. I might have some other content coming out as well because there's just so much to talk about at the moment. But yeah, 9-inch charge with a reroll is really unreliable, so as excited as we are about throwing a model forward in turn 1 with a Librarian Dreadnought, it's not even a 50-50 roll to make that charge. And I really dislike that. That's why I think the Blade Guard with the Primaris Ancient might be a better option. Or, I mean, the other option is to throw Dante forward. 2 out of 3 games he makes that turn 1 charge, Dante plus like 10 Sangre Guard. Or you basically kill anything that you want, right? I'm convinced we're getting a new champion. I mean, maybe we're getting a new champion. Is anyone else looking along at Canis Rex? I haven't looked at Rex actually, but I know his rules last edition were pretty good. What's good with him this edition? What about Death Company with a built-in reroll? Well, it's still less than a 50% chance, right? The reason that we used to make so many of our charges was our +1, so losing that is going to hurt. And figuring out how to deal with that, I guess, is going to be the trickiest thing. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching this afternoon. I'm trying to think when I'll be back next. I've got a live stream on the Grops channel tomorrow night. I think probably around 8:30 or 9. And then I think I've got Tactics video coming out on Friday. Probably have some other ad hoc streams if I can get kid free time, because I've got a lot of models to make. I've got so many questions about what's going to be good yet in 10th edition. It's going to be never ending, is it? What about Devastator Squad, so you don't have to rely on the charge? But you just put a I mean, if there's a shooting squad you can just put somewhere, that's not a bad idea either. Jeremiah! Oh, right, I missed your comment. Sorry, I have 2-5 Death Company with magnetized backpacks, jump packs, and hammers. Huh, okay, so you're kind of good on Death Company. I mean, there was a few situations in 9th edition where I ran 3 Death Company, 2 with 5 hammers, and then 2 with 5 Infernal Pistols and Power Swords. If you don't have a squad of Death Company with Infernal Pistols and Power Swords, I would maybe wait on making all those Vanguard veterans, because the Death Company with Infernal Pistols and Power Swords and Arcs of Omen were super cheap. Like, they're 115 points or something. For point, they were amazing. They were arguably like the most killy unit we had point for point, Jeremiah. So maybe wait until we see the points at the end of the week and decide then. If you got any other comments, guys, or questions about 10th, just leave them down below. I mean, and I will be answering everything. I mean, I'm a little bit behind around comments at the moment, but like I said, my channel's had the most views it's ever had in the last 2 days, so it's kind of crazy. 12,000 views in 2 days. But I do genuinely try to answer every single comment. If you've not yet printed out this cheat sheet, look at the video I released earlier today. It's got a link to the quick start guide it's 4 pages. And it's got all the rules that you'll need for 10th edition. All this stuff like heavy indirect fire, lethal hits, blast, all this sort of stuff, right? So like, print this out. I made a video about it this morning. And you can expect to see so much more of me in 10th edition. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you to the people that gave us the memberships today, as always. I'll see you guys very soon. Have a great day. Enjoy the summer. I think I'm going to go take the kids for a walk in the woods. Should be good. Hope you guys have a great day. Thanks again for watching. Peace. And hit me up in Discord if there's something you want to chat about. I've been in the members room in Discord loads the last few days, so there's loads to chat about. So come on over. We'll see the guys in there. Good afternoon. Peace.
Greetings, brothers. Welcome to the Blood Angels Commander channel.